Up, it's your boy Johnny Shrivai, BB Pro, Mr. Tell It Like It Is, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Coaching Up Coaches. I get a highly recommended, highly requested video, and obviously it's your boy Jesse James West. We're going to critique his video, Training TikTokers with Anna Banana Shoemate. We're gonna see if Jesse James is a good coach, if he knows the difference between entertaining and educating. Can he combine both of those together and give you something to apply to your life to make sure your training is optimal? Or is it just kids trying to be cool and show you that they, I don't know, man. Like when I came up, man, the process for me to go to the gym was like a very focused one. So I would take my pre-workout and then I would throw on like, you know, Ronnie Coleman, Flex Lewis, Dennis James, James Hollingshead, Hunter Labrada. And I would throw those videos in and they would actually get me pumped up and amped up because watching the raw training and then the education on top of that, you would get something out of the training. So I want to see and critique if Jesse James is actually giving us some good quality info. I'm only going to critique the guys that say that they're coaches that actually sell plans, right? Because then they're promoting what they know and they're promoting their knowledge to make money off of what they know. So let's just sit back and relax and let's just see if Jesse James gives us some quality info that we can apply to our training and make our training more optimal. Anyway, guys, let's watch this. Training TikTokers with Anna Banana Shoemate. All right, we're starting off with some squats. We're doing some hip thrusts, good. I do like that he's starting off with, loosening up your hips. I think that's very, very important that, before you start training, do some dynamic warm-up, some stretching to get your body moving, get them warm, because you don't want to just jump under a bar and then just start squatting. Now, another thing too, when you're squatting, for those of you guys who have a lot of muscle, it's sometimes very hard to just static stretch or dynamic warm up when you have a ton of muscle like myself. So sometimes getting under a bar right away with a little bit of weight and kind of getting deep in your squat leg and sit there to kind of open up your hips is a good idea too. But for those of you guys who don't have a lot of muscle like these guys here, it's really good to start your hip circles, hip swings, leg swings, sides, front, and so forth. So good. All right, let's go. Let's see if these guys start working out.
There you go. You got some good form. How'd that feel? Good.
So guys, right away we're looking at just for the Anna Banana and her friend. When you high bar squat, you're gonna force yourself. The lower you go, you're gonna make yourself tilt. This is because the weight distribution is sitting on top of the trap. So when you're squatting, a lot of the time that weight goes down. They end up doing this, and then as you see when the girls squat, they're kind of wrenching their back up to get back up. Now, the squat it's a squat and you're having a little bit of hinging in a sense, but your butt is going down, your butt is coming back up. You're almost like, tilting back and tilting up. It's in the butt, it's not in the back. So you don't want to squat and then try to wrench up like this to get the weight up. You're pushing with your legs and hinging with your hips a bit. Not like a hinge, like a squat, because when you hinge, you end up doing this kind of thing where you're doing like this. We want yourself to move your hips and your knees break at the same time to lower yourselves and go back up. So you shouldn't have much tilt at the torso at all. We should keep that torso basically at a really good angle that stays consistent the entire way. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's see what we got from Jesse. Tarps off already. Okay, tarps off.
First tarp down. Should have made it look like he was struggling, so I don't feel as bad when I go.
All right.
I've actually never done this, so this is leg work.
Okay, you got high bar. So for you tall guys, it's tough for you tall guys, long limbs. It's very imperative that you make sure you get that bar down there on that low bar. Make sure you're engaging your lats so we can make sure that we keep a nice straight T-spine when you squat, right? So when you're squatting, we want to have a little bit of shoulder depression when we're squatting there, so we're not just holding the bar loose and whatnot, We start here seeing Jesse with his hands kind of like this a little lightweight for him, just doing a warm up. But I suggest for you guys that are watching, that you guys are beginners, to make sure that you hold the daggone bar. None of this like fancy shit. Hold the bar, safety. Make sure we're shoulder depression so we have a nice T-spine, straight and strong, and then squatting that way. So let's go.
It's like, let's do it, but way more hit.
There you go. Okay, there we go, some squats now. All right, we've lowered the bar a little bit, and we got some knee shakiness there from both of them, all of them. Let's see if we get any tips from Jesse to help these guys out, because Jesse is obviously the more trained and composed one through all of this. So, okay, guys. So remember, my rule is quality over quantity. All right. When we are squatting, we want to do external rotation hips. We're gonna start from the ground up, right? So from the ground up. External rotation from the hips, right? Make sure your feet are on the ground force on the ground, and we're gripping with the toes, we're pushing through the heels. We're not just pushing through the heels, trying to bounce on our heels. Moving up, we want to externally rotate the hips. Basically, that means aligning your knees with your toes, so they're aligned with that. So when you're squatting, we don't get this kind of knee buckling thing in every time we squat. But that doesn't mean that you keep forcing your knees out so they look like they're trying to pull over the outsides of your heels. And we're getting a little of that from Will doing a squat. Now again, we're looking at Jesse's squat, and you know, he's flared out a lot, he's pushing his knees out a lot to really compensate for that. But again, when it comes to his shoulder pressure, we're not getting there as well, because we're getting this stuff. When we squat, we're getting down, and then we're doing this to get back up, and the knees are buckling in. I would give this squat a C, only because a lot of that, I don't think he can really handle the weight. Now, he can actually do the squat. When it comes to actually controlling and handling the weight, means you can control the movement on the way down, and you can control the movement on the way up. With any weight you put on your damn back, do not load your spine if you can't move that weight properly. Why? Because it's your freaking spine. Guys, I'm saying this because I care. Because right now, I have deteriorating vertebrae. My L4 and my L5 have arthritis symptoms, and I got osteophytes in my L5 sticking in my freaking sciatic nerve. And that is from really relying on my lordosis, the crazy curvature of my back, to keep my back straight without engaging my core. And that what happens there is, well, you get this. You get your torso load and your leg load forcing onto those lumbar vertebrae, just doing this. And we don't engage our core, and we don't really make sure we're controlling the weight. We put too much pressure on that, and we cause ourselves back issues, and sometimes sciatica like I have. So to avoid that, you wanna make sure, number one, we are engaging our core 100% of the time. That should be your focus. When I go under a bar, I'm not thinking about how much weight's on the bar. I'm thinking the only way to get this weight up is with good form. And that is going to be a lot of my core engaged in activation. Here's a cool analogy for you. Think about an orchestra with a bunch of beautiful instruments. We got our brass, we got our, our woodwinds, our brasses, we got our strings, we got all that in there, and we have our conductor, conducting music. Take that conductor out, and all that beautiful music is a bunch of noise. Think of your conductor being your core, and all your beautiful instruments being the muscles around your body, controlling your skeletal structure. We want to make sure we keep that conductor in there engaged the whole time, so we can create some beautiful harmony and music throughout the body when we're squatting, deadlifting, benching, whatever it is, curling, doesn't really matter. When we take this guy out of the equation, we got a bunch of noise. I'm gonna rate his squat a little bit and look at it again. And we have knee buckling in. Now, the squat, I'm being very picky, right? The squat itself, the depth is pretty good. You know, your depth, again, we're talking about depth. How low should you go? How low should you go? Should it go down low all the way to the flow? Yeah! So how low should you go? You should go only as low as you could hold a straight spine. So when we're talking about like, pelvic tilting, when you go ass to grass, you're gonna get some pelvic tilt underneath. Your butt's gonna kind of turn and curve underneath. We don't want that. We wanna make sure we go down, and then our butt doesn't do that. So only go as low as you can control your back and without that pelvic tilt. When you get down there, you should feel very, very activated glutes. When we're externally rotating the hips, you should feel your glute medius on, turned on, and forced on. And then at that bottom of that, say 90 degrees of your squat, you should feel complete control and activation there, and then firing up, controlling up, almost leg pressing up in a sense. And when you're like, what do you mean leg press up? I mean, press the weight up. Don't stand up, press it up. Pressing with your legs, not with your back, not with your shoulders, not with your head, with your legs. So the squatting is pretty good from the girls. Like, I'm not gonna tear these guys up, I am a stickler for good form, and this is just a case of not reiterating those things over and over and over when you're training. These are just, kids training that really don't have someone there to give them the right cues to make sure they're squatting properly. Like, they don't have someone like me sitting there being like, hey, externally rotate the hips, line these with the toes, core, engage your core, tight lats. I think my freaking clients wake up like, oh geez, lats, core, oh my God, I saw my coach in my gym. Again, literally, I'm saying it to them over and over and over and over, reiterating things over and over again. That's what a coach does. Now, he said he's not a coach when it comes to one-on-one, but he's selling coaching books. And honestly, when you're the person who obviously knows more, remember guys, iron sharpens iron. My YouTube channel didn't get this way because of dull freaking engagement. My YouTube channel went up because the iron in my engagement, my iron in my subs, my iron in my comments. You guys sharpen me, I sharpen you. That's how this whole thing works. That's why I love my channel, because you guys are recommending me do videos that can help you out. You say, hey man, do a video on this guy doing whatever so I can hear you do the critiques on that guy, because I know, well, you know what you're talking about. And that's what we're here for. And I get these guys having fun. You know what I mean? You put together a bunch of YouTubers, TikTokers, and Instagrammers that have millions of followings. Of course, you're gonna have a great, energy that's there, but we can't stray away from the fact that we're there to do work.
Conor McGregor walk. Swing the arms a little bit. A little bit more like
it's not a Conor McGregor walk. So lots of talking between here. Lots. I don't see how they're actually working at all, but again, we got your boy Jesse over there doing videos, and you got your guy over here that is obviously struggling with 135 pounds. He looks to be about 6+ feet and maybe I would say less than 200 pounds, right? So when you're with your partner in the gym training, be there to spot them, please. So belts are on. He's got his belt on. He's about to go up in weight, I'm assuming. Oh no, he's gonna keep same weight because he usually just squats his belt, which is good.
But it's so easy to just like
people that like post hot girls or whatever, and they'll post TikToks, and all the comments are just straight hate.
That hate isn't real. Like if they saw you in person, they'd probably come up to you for a photo.
My mindset's always been like, think about it. If someone tells you I love you for 100 straight days, but 1 out of the 100 days they told you I hate you, you're only gonna focus on the one day they told you they hate you because the love was so like regular. If you have 1,000 comments, 900 of them are so positive. You're only gonna focus on the 100 that are negative because they stand out. It's like I don't care.
Because the others are like per usual.
Yeah.
My guy. I like your tattoos, by the way.
Thank
They're
you, brother.
really nice.
You guys, and again, when we're watching, we get a lot of knee buckling. No, not much, external rotation. Now we're watching Jesse. He's got a ton of pressing his legs out. Knees are kind of leaning forward a bit. Good for him on the effort. I'm gonna say, I like people that have effort and try, but when we're squatting and we're doing those compound movements, it is imperative that we make sure our form is correct. Jesse is a very talented dude, so he can get away with some stuff and still get gains. Not saying he's gonna avoid injury down the road, because if he keeps doing this, eventually he will get injured, and that's what happens. I'm just telling you from experience. I'm like your crystal ball. I'm like your glimpse in the future. You wanna ask me questions about training and how to avoid certain things? Ask me away, because I've had every damn injury in the book. I have no ACL. I haven't had an ACL since 2009. I tore it playing football and I never got it repaired. But I was able to play without it because I trained in my physio on my own to strengthen the surrounding muscles around there. So a lot of what I have knowledge from is from being injured and being able to recover from those injuries. Every time I got injured, I'm like, well, guess what? You're doing that wrong. Let's try to do it the right way. I did that for you guys, so you guys don't want to do it yourself. I got some really good videos out there. Check my Train With Me playlist. I got a lot of stuff in there. We went through, top 3 best, workouts to do. I went through every muscle group and some of the best exercises to do with explanations of how the muscles actually move, the anatomy, muscular anatomy, and everything like that. Guys, check it out, watch it. There you can learn something on this. And, check out some other videos I have up there too of just me actually training, guys. I got some more stuff to get pumped out, guys, that you can actually take and apply to your life, guys. So I hope you liked this video. And if you did, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, and share the video, guys. And for coaching, johnnyshreve.com. If you actually want to learn something that will apply to your life and actually make and reach the goals, johnnyshreve.com. If you got any questions about training, I do consultations too. Anyway, guys, make sure you guys add me on Instagram at _johnnyshreve_. And check out my gym at Impact Fitness 56. My new gym is open up, and I'm really stoked to have that thing rolling and running. Anyway, guys, progressive overload your life. And in the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.